and they'll send you the however much you won in the lottery.
Sounds like a deal.
So
It does sound like a deal, doesn't it? So that's one.
First, right?
Well,
So,
typically, yeah, you got to buy tickets. You know, you gotta enter contests before you win them. So if you've won a contest that you've never entered, that is probably, you're right, Sandy. That's probably it does, but not everyone thinks that.
I've had 2 of those.
Yeah. So you definitely don't want to do that. So that's the lottery scam. The second one is the Secret Sister.
Yeah,
Have you seen that?
yeah. I was warned about it.
Okay. It's Secret Sister. It's like a modified version of a Secret Santa on Facebook, and it's like a chain letter, and it's being described as a pyramid scheme. So basically, hi, so-and-so, I'm doing a Secret Sister. I'd love for you to get involved. You buy one gift around $10 or more, and you send it to so-and-so, and then you send this letter to 6 other people, and so you can get up to between 6 and 36 gifts this holiday season, and you only have to spend $10 to do it.
Well, it works as long as the pyramid keeps going.
Yeah, except the calculations that they did said that in order for you to get your gifts, the entire U.S. population would have to join in on this Secret Sister gift thing. So there's a very good chance that you won't, because of the 6 people you send it to, what are the odds that anyone's gonna actually do it, even if you do it? So it's a pyramid scheme. Don't do it.
Have you seen the one with the $50 gift cards? I bet I get 10 a day. Walmart and all of it. So you've got a $50 gift card. Click here to redeem.
To redeem
That's
it.
another scam, right?
No, you got Firefox.
Well,
Yeah.
The wait is over, Apple fans. Get fast mobile browsing.
Yep, Firefox is now on iOS devices. So if you don't want to use the built-in Safari on your phone or tablet, they've got different, like Google Chrome has been for a long time on the phone.
So why would I not want to use the built-in Safari?
Some people don't like it. Personal
I don't know
preference.
her well enough to say I don't like it.
Yeah, it's personal preference.
So if I went here at the Fox,
Well, you'd have to go on your phone and go to the App Store on your phone.
so this is the Firefox.
So are we talking about scams?
Yeah, he
No,
just saw
I'm
something
I'm
pop up
sorry,
on
I
his
Oh,
screen. And the third one, I'm blanking on. But there's a third one. Hopefully it'll come to me. But there's a third one out there on Facebook. But basically, if and this is true for emails too, not just Facebook, but Facebook, sometimes you see like the gift cards and things like that pop up all the time, and so you think, well, maybe. Because one woman, I guess, with the lottery one woman sent in $150, and another person sent in $850 for this insurance. And so just out a lot of money. Yeah, it's not good. It's not happy times.
is there one affiliated with like sports betting or whatever?
No, but I mean, you can do like fantasy sports betting, and apparently that's legal. You can do like a daily draft and draft a team for a day and throw in $5 and get 24 other people to do it, and then there's your prize pool. So, yeah, I'll try to remember the third one, but I can't. Real quick, so this is Mark was asking about syncing your tablet to your computer, and so this is what the screen would look like when it pops up on iTunes. And so you can check for an update, which it does over the air now, so that's not as pertinent. But you can always restore your iPad if anything's wrong.
Okay.
Backup now. And then you also can choose the option to encrypt your backup, which again, it tells you what it does there. And then you can back it up, you can restore it, and then you can, or you can back it up, you can erase it completely, you know, back up with the encryption, completely erase your iPad, all contents, all settings, everything, and then restore it from that. And it'll bring back your apps and your...
So in theory, this thing is talking to the computer if it's so coded.
Yep.
But wirelessly, all the time, it's backing itself up
To the cloud.
to the cloud.
If you've got the iCloud feature
If you
turned on.
said.
Yeah.
But then when you plug it in, it allows you to go in and erase this and restore it from what's stored in the cloud.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So you're talking iPad, because you said tablet, I'm assuming it's.
Well, you can. It'll look different for a Windows or a Android tablet, but other tablets have similar features. Yeah. Or phones. Yeah, you can erase every single thing from your phone if you wanted to.
No, but can I make this go to there? To just a regular phone or whatever they call it?
Certain things can, like you can make your calendar sync across using probably a Google Calendar. That's what I do. All my calendars on my Mac are Google Calendars.
Why would my iPhone be saying I can't find the server?
No, you're connected.
So when I go into like Safari,
It's an interesting question. Not sure. We'll take a look at that in a minute, Don. So you'd have to set up a third-party calendar application like Google Calendar, and then set up Google Calendar on there, and then set up Google Calendar on your phone, and they should talk back and forth to each other.
Okay,
Because it's coming from a third source
okay.
down to the different devices.
So to do it, an iPhone works the same way. If I plugged it into the computer, it
Yes.
would show. an
Yep, it would look
iPhone.
exactly like this, except it would show a phone, and it would say iPhone, and yep.
One of the things in talking to Mr. Verizon the other day, they said that this, if you go overseas and purchase a different SIM card,
Mm-hmm.
that when you swap it out, it zeroes out the phone. So you have to restore it to your previous settings when it comes back.
Never done the overseas thing, so I'm not sure.
Did you guys use them in Mexico? No.
We go to everything.
Well, the other,
We don't want to contribute to the third richest man in the world. He's only third now.
one thing you can do instead of buying a separate SIM card is you can go into Verizon or go to your Verizon account online, and you can buy for a month X number of minutes for worldwide traveling.
$25.
And then depending on how many minutes and or data that you want. And then before the month's up, or as soon as your trip's over, when you come back, you go back into your account and just uncheck that box saying, I don't want that anymore. And then just make sure you don't go over those minutes or data. And then, so you can do that. Or you can buy a separate SIM card and set it up that way, but that's much more involved. It may be cheaper, I'm not sure, but more involved. Yep.
I'm apparently going to get my house, so I know I asked you before, so.
Yeah.
No, I'm groping now.
Yes, and I'm still, so last time I said you need to find out who you're going with.
Well, I got two different dishes out there.
Right.
iPhone dish, and I can't remember what the other dish is, but they're one's
there's
great,
Dish
one's
and DirecTV.
Yeah.
Yes, sorry.
Dish Network
I
and
phoned
DirecTV.
both of them. I gave them the address, I gave them the zip code. 3 girls later, 3 transfers later, they said, we don't know where that is. And so I was gonna do for Cablevision, but then I've been so busy with other stuff, I haven't had a chance to get to a cable company to attempt even to go that route.
Right.
So if they can't find the address, but there's a dish one sitting there, because it's all this, they all use the same high-speed cables now, right?
It's not right. No, some are using fiber optics, some are using auxiliary cables. So they're different. So I can't. That's why.
Okay.
Yeah. So you really have to find out who you're going to go with, and then ask them what kind of
What it needs to be.
cables they need that you need in the house.
Maybe talk to HCTV up here and talk to the new people I've put down on Coda. There's options. Maybe there's options.
Well, I'm just,
Yeah. So yeah, you really need to find out. 'Cause, yeah, and satellite. I've never ever had satellite, so I don't know what kind of wires they use. They might just use the coax.
I don't know. Again,
Cables.
that's all it's there right now is coax wired into the house. But
Right.
both dishes are wired into the plumbing,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't, I'm kind of going to work on the idea. I just don't know what they're doing. So,
Right. Yep. So that's yeah. You have to find out who you're going with before you decide
Okay.
what to put in the house.
Hi. Hey.
All right. Anybody else? And we're dinging.
Question about the core processors,
Mm-hmm.
you know, the i5 and the i7,
Yes.
but they have, 5th generation, 6th generation, 7th. What's the difference between?
So that's just saying what year it came out in.
Okay, so,
Okay.
okay.
So I think they're on the 7th generation right
Yeah, I
now.
think most of them are.
Is this year's model?
So those are older chips, basically.
Yeah, they're older
Intel
chips.
Produced millions of them, and they're in the system.
Yep. Yeah, when if you go to Costco or Best Buy or Walmart, yeah, they might have last year's or even 2 years ago model, and that's why usually when you see the big sales, oh my gosh, this computer's $300-400 off. It's usually because it's an older model and they're trying to get it out of the store. And it'll probably have a 5th or a 6th generation processor instead of the new 7th generation processor.
Well, maybe for us old guys.
Well, and for some, it's exactly right. Sometimes it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Doesn't matter.
I bought last year's iMac instead of this year's because it saved me $350, I think.
One of the salesmen told me that probably if I'm looking to the future, I'm going to keep the computer a long time. But the processor probably is the most important part because
It
it'll
is.
keep up with upgrades.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, it is, and partly because processors are infinitely harder to replace. You never want to replace a motherboard, but a motherboard is replaceable. RAM, you can always upgrade. Your hard drive, you can always upgrade. But a processor is pretty difficult. Yeah, I would say obviously not on a Mac because they make these things impregnable to open up on your own. But if you're buying a Windows computer, even laptops, RAM is probably the easiest thing to replace, even for an average person. I mean, it's literally you unscrew the compartment, you pop the 2 tabs, you pull out the RAM or both sticks of RAM, pop them in, make sure those tabs are locked in, and you're done.
So you go from 8 to 16.
8 to 16, yeah. So instead of 2 sticks of 4, you've got 2 sticks of 8 in there. And then the next would be the hard drive. Some of them just pop out because they've got a little plug that pops them in, or you unplug a little cable and then plug the cable back in, screw it back in its place, and screw the compartment on. That's a little more complicated because you're also dealing with your operating system is now not there. So
I got tech crew there.
Yeah, exactly. And some people, I think it's getting a lot better where you don't have to, you used to have to get like a static free environment and you'd have to get one of those little wristbands that you clip to something metal so that you're always grounded, so that you didn't fry your hardware. But I've done it plenty of times where I've sat on the carpet floor and popped things in and out before and never had an issue. So
Question. In sending, I'm looking at sending a document
Mhm.
via email, and it gives me the option of sending it in numbers, which is the software in
right.
PDF, correct? It's like a photograph.
Right.
Then Excel, and then they've got another one here, CSV. What would that be?
Comma separated value.
Which means?
Very simplified. It's like a spreadsheet, but it's simplified. If there's,
Could somebody then modify it to their own?
yeah, they could modify it. So if you don't want it modified, if you just want it for their looking at, then a PDF is what you would go
But
with.
if I want to let them modify it, send it maybe in Excel.
Yeah, an Excel file would, yeah. Because part of the problem with CSV, if my understanding, I could be wrong. So I'm definitely no expert, but if you do it as a comma separated value, if there's any math involved, you can set up the equations and things like that in Excel or numbers for Mac. Then I don't think those values necessarily
They're not.
they won't go with you. They won't go with the file. Whereas if you send it as an Excel file, all of those equations so if they were to manipulate a number, then that addition, subtraction, calculation, whatever, would modify with it. Yep.
We're trying to put Excel into my iPad.
Yep.
And we went to the, whatever you call that place,
The App Store.
App Store, and then we got up in the top right-hand corner.
Yep.
When it says suggestions, and it's got Excel for iPads free.
Yes, it is.
Okay, we tapped that, but nothing's
He's got
showing
a lot
up.
of updates pending, sitting there, and some of them he doesn't want.
That shouldn't affect whether or not.
Trying to find, here we got Word.
So I could easily download Excel into my MacBook Pro.
No, Excel's for the Mac, it's paid for, but on the iPad, they've got a limited version for free,
So is that if you
or your phone.
So if you download that limited version, and then don't you just click on it for upgrade, and it upgrades itself to where it should be?
No, not that kind of. It's not updating the application. Upgrading, you'd have to have a Office 365 subscription.
But on the MacBook Pro, what if I want to download Excel?
Then you'd have to buy it.
But then, okay, so I could buy it and then download it.
Yeah, and they just came out with Office 2016 for both PC and Mac.
Well, what would you recommend I do? I mean, I'm using numbers, which seems to work. But I'm familiar with numbers.
Right.
And it's a simple spreadsheet.
Better in that circumstance doesn't necessarily equal. Let me see. I said that wrong. If you know what you're doing and it's working, and there's nothing that you're saying, oh, I wish it could do this, then there's no reason to pay extra money for a different program. Just because someone says something's better, like Photoshop is an amazing program and can do a million things over, they're different, but over Lightroom. So I've got Lightroom to be able to edit my photos that I take with my camera. Photoshop can do so much more, but it's also so much more money, and it's so much more than I will ever need. So is better for me? No, because I don't need all that extra stuff. So if numbers is working for you and just doing everything that you need,
It is, but there's some things that what I'm doing is I'm bringing data forward on a monthly basis and copying it, but it's not
right.
It's not I don't know how to explain it. It's not giving me the capability of taking that data and then putting it into a separate spreadsheet. Or maybe I don't know how to do it. Probably I don't know how to do it. Since I can't ask an intelligent question, move on.
That's all right. You know, and I think if you go to Apple's website or even YouTube, there are tutorials on how to use these programs.
Oh,
And so
that's a
maybe
good
there
idea.
might be
Tutorial
some-
on numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you might be able to do that, and it might answer some of the questions that you're not sure you'd have the right question to ask, but it might have those answers before you know what the right question is. So let's see. So yeah, you can get Excel and Word and PowerPoint all for free for the Mac or for the iPad or the iPhone. I don't know what the limitations are, but I do know that there are limitations. But they lifted some of them, so I think you can even create and edit documents on all three of those. And so if you do use those programs, it's worth the download. But you can also, I think any newer iPad has or phone Pages, Numbers, and Keynote for free, and so you can download those also. And so if you're familiar and comfortable with those, then I would try using those as well. And then, if that's not enough, you can do, Google has their own. It's very simple. I mean, it's powerful, but it's still pretty simple. But Google has Google Sheets, Google Docs, and I forget what their PowerPoint one is, but they've got one of each also. So you can play with all of them, or I do have an Office 365 subscription, so I do have pretty much the full capabilities of Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. So that's why I have those on there. And the really cool thing is they recently updated it. Recently, it's been a little while, but you can sync it to your Dropbox account to it. And so anything on your Dropbox you can now open directly in Microsoft Word or Excel or PowerPoint for iPad or iPhone, which can be really helpful if you store a lot of your documents in Dropbox. So
last night on the football game, they had a commercial for the Samsung Pay feature,
yes,
like Apple Pay.
just like
Samsung.
Apple Pay. Yep.
So can you give us some groups on those things? Paying with your phone.
Paying with your phone. Yeah. What do you want to?
Does it work?
Does it work? Yeah, it works. I've never actually done it, but
Did y'all see it?
What?
You wave your phone past the checkout
Yeah.
counter thing.
Well, I'm aware of it, but I don't know if I trust it.
So
I'm having trouble just with the chip. Now my credit card won't go through the scanner. You gotta stick it in there. and let it
Yeah,
run, Which is supposedly more secure.
Right. What's the trouble with it, though?
Nothing, it's just the difference.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Makes me,
Yes,
In some places it requires it, in some places.
Yeah.
doesn't.
Yeah.
some of them aren't
Right.
set up yet.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
it's-
there's
it's
a
all
grace
going-
period.
But
Yeah.
Home Depot now, you have to, if you have the chip, you have to stick it
Walmart.
Yeah.
Walmart, yeah, the lady said, "Oh, I see it's got a chip. You need to."
in
Yeah.
rather than scan it.
Yep.
So,
Yep. So yeah, the chip is infinitely more secure than the card swipe is, which is probably why.
They'll all probably have.
Yep. Yep. Europe's been that way for quite a
Yeah.
while now.
It's supposed to
And
be mandatory here, I thought now.
the soft deadline.
Oh,
But
And-
maybe getting back to Bill's question,
Yeah.
we know the chip on our credit cards are infinitely
Mhm.
more secure.
Yeah.
But what about the phone? Is
The
that
phone,
might be a
yeah.
concern?
No, the really cool thing about the phone, and you have to have a chip or a phone that has the NFC device in it. So I don't think the 5 does. So it wouldn't affect you. But if it does, then in your for an iPhone, in your wallet, you would then add a credit card or multiple credit cards to your account. And then you would set one up as your default. And then if you came across a store that had Apple Pay, then when they push the final total button, letting you know your total's ready, your phone then recognizes that they talk to each other. I mean, they're not sending info, but they recognize they're close to each other. And so then your phone, even from the lock screen, when it's closed up, will light up and basically say, touch your thumb to the fingerprint thing or whatever finger you've got set up for it. And then you can just pay with that default card.
Oh,
Or you can open it up and select a card specifically to pay for it. And then you just hold your finger and it registers that you've agreed to use this card to pay for this much money at the store. And the great secure feature about it is you are not sending your credit card number and CCV, is that right? The code on the back and the expiration date. You're not sending any of that information to the store. You are sending a one-time transaction code for that specific amount. And so when all those Target, when that Target thing happened and some of the other stores and your credit card number and everything were being stolen, they would steal that code, but that code was for that one purchase and it's already gone through. And so they have none of your data with Apple Pay or Samsung Pay or Google Wallet, I think is, that's the problem with Android is that each one's going to have to come out with their own service, but they all use the same chip. And so that's what it does, is it sends a one-time code specifically for Target, for that amount, for those items. So yeah, it's really secure. I think the only store I am aware of in town there might be others, but that's the only one. And I haven't tried it. I almost did one day, but there's a super long line behind me and I didn't want to. I know it's supposed to be super quick and easy, but I just didn't want to mess with it. So I just pulled out my card and swiped. But so I haven't actually tried it personally, but that's what you just hold it up next to the little, just right next to the swiper. It's all the same device and you just hold your phone near it and touch your thumb to the pay thing and that's it. Charges, you're good to go.
And that chip that enables that doesn't reside in the iPad.
No.
Only in the phone.
No, only in the phone. I believe, unless they just came out with new iPads. The iPad Pro just came out a couple days ago.
How much?
I think it starts at either $699 or $799. 12-inch screen. So I won't get one. It's just exciting. It's new technology. Why wouldn't you be excited about it? So yeah, so those are the options. Yeah, they're still accepting swiping because, I mean, this is, it's nationwide, and so it's taking a long time for things to roll out. We've got the coffee shop here that the youth run, and we use Square, the Square program, and so they send you a little card reader, and we can accept credit cards for a certain percentage fee. And they are coming out with, or they have come out with a chip reader now. And so we pre-ordered that a couple months ago and it still hasn't come. And it's also, it'll also do Apple Pay as well. And, but because we pre-ordered it, and this is what I'm guessing is happening with a lot of these places that are still doing the card swipe, is because we pre-ordered, but the device is not here yet, we are covered if any fraud were to happen under the old system. And so I'm guessing that's what's happened with these other companies, is that they've ordered these devices, whether or not it's a Square or a regular register system, but they just haven't come up because I'm assuming they're probably back ordered because of it's a nationwide. Everybody. I mean, can you imagine how many stores exist in the nation? And
Some still using the paper swipe.
yeah,
Which my friend has a business, and he's got this thing that he puts into his phone.
yep, that's the little. Yep, that's what that is. That's what Square is. So there's Square, and their Amazon has their own one. There's several out there.
So is that going to change for him? Does he got to go to the chip thing too? Or what's
Yeah,
the story?
well. What I know through us being a part of Square, the Square program, is that we don't. I don't think we have to switch, but we are. If you don't switch, you are responsible for any fraud that happens. You are not covered by your bank. You're not covered by anybody. You are responsible. So if you get scammed for a fake credit card for a $5,000 purchase, you are responsible for that $5,000.
I've got a question. Now, this
Yep.
has got a chip on it.
Yep.
Does it also have,
It's also got this old swipe card.
so it can go either way?
Yep.
And the swipe card is where my signature,
And it's just like the swipe is the same as it always was, and then with the card, like at Walmart, looks like the same system, but then you'll notice there's like this little blue glow at the bottom, and then you just
and they
plug the
asked you
chip
to-
up in
to
there.
Plug
Yep.
this thing in.
Yeah.
Yep.
Rather
You have to
than
leave it
swiping.
there until
Yep.
it-
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
a different
it's
process.
And don't pull. Apparently, pulling it out can actually do damage to your car.
yeah.
What the lady at Walmart told me, because I thought I did what, and I went to pull it up. She got all excited. No, don't do that. There's something to your car.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's digitally talking, and it's just like if you were to if you've got a thumb drive and even if you're done transferring photos or pictures or files or what have you, if you pull that drive out without doing the ejection process, you're always at risk of corrupting
Damaging.
Yeah.
corrupting.
the entire drive. That goes for a jump drive or an external hard drive or anything that has data on it. If you plug it out without properly ejecting it, you're at risk for. And here, I just thought I'd show you. So this is Square, the Square program, and you sign up for the system. Yeah, see, here's the old mag strip reader that we've got a bunch of here. And then this is what the new contactless and chip reader is going to look like. So you can accept the new EMV, which is the chip, and then NFC is near field communication, which is the Apple Pay or the Samsung Pay. So that's what we've ordered.
So with the near field, does it then read?
It talks to your phone. No. The near field is with your phone. That's paying with your phone.
Okay, do they have to scan something off of it, or is it
No,
like Bluetooth?
there's a special chip inside here, and so it's only available.
Is on mine or just the
No,
i6? Or?
I can't remember if it's the 5S or the 6. I think it's the 6. No, maybe I don't know.
So this phone, this has perhaps a chip in it.
It's definitely not the 5. 5S. Why doesn't the 5S have NFC? So it is. It's just the 6 or now the 6S has the near field communication chip in it.
So it goes via some wireless to this device.
Yeah, the near field communication chip senses that this device also has near field communication and is attempting to talk to it, and then
Would most retailers have that near field communication? Starbucks probably has it.
Starbucks might. Like I said, I do know that Subway does because they've got the little sticker on there that says Apple Pay, and it's got the little.
So the terminology would be Apple Pay.
For Apple,
Mine
then there's
says
Samsung. Okay.
NFC on it.
Yours has
It says
NFC.
Samsung.
Yeah. Well, so
And it also has where you touch next to somebody and
yeah.
whatever that's called.
Well, that's part of the NFC thing as well. Samsung,
S-Beam.
yeah, the Beam. Those Android was a lot faster in adopting near field communication, even though it wasn't widely used, like the Samsung Pay or any of those types of applications to use it. They still had it for a long time before Apple came across and finally adopted that technology. But to Apple's credit, Apple spent all that time developing the internal and external structures to make near field communication popular. And so they signed all these deals with all these companies to have NFC devices at their stores. And so Android has really benefited because of that. Because it's just NFC, it doesn't matter if it's Apple or Android. There is a little, it does require a little bit of tweaking or hardware or software to make it accept both. But because of what Apple did, those people with Android devices now have a much wider range of stores to shop at using that technology because of Apple. So, but yeah, so Square Up, you just sign up. You there's two options. There's it's 2 3/4% is what they will charge you per swipe, or if you're a big business, then I don't know what the number is, but they will just charge you a flat fee per month. So you figure out which is cheaper. Obviously, for a coffee shop that's open an hour a week, the flat percentage is way cheaper. And then you can just plug it into it just plugs into your headphone jack. You download the app from the App Store and you start accepting payments.
I went to
It's pretty slick.
my daughter's church in Phoenix
Mm-hmm.
not too long ago. And during the time when they were asking for the offering,
Yeah.
there was an app where rather than having a preset amount out of your bank account, you could pull up the app and designate, okay, today I want to give a specific amount.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was automatically transferred from the giver's bank account to the church's bank account.
Yep.
Seems to me that would be a great thing for Faith Lutheran.
We don't have an app that you can do spontaneous giving. But
But this was an app, kind of a generic app.
No,
I think any
yeah.
church could use.
right. And we haven't looked into apps. We've looked at programs similar and the fees associated with it. But we do have 2 different programs where you can sign up for either monthly or weekly
But some
giving.
people don't want to lock into giving
Right. No, I
X
understand.
dollars. They want to have the option of today I
Yep.
want to give the following.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah.
Seems to me we could probably use that.
We could
Or you can
potentially.
use PayPal.
there's-
couldn't
Yeah, people can use PayPal. So there are options. It's just, it's both a matter of the cost, but also someone who's knowledgeable and willing to be able to take that on is something that they'd be willing to do. I'm not going to. No.
So
Yes.
that thing you were talking about for
Yes.
the phone thingy that on the
Yep.
page back he was. So would he be better to go to the one you just clicked on it and get that than what he has now for the chip?
If he wants to be protected from fraud, then yes.
Oh yeah, no. I
There-
meant, but so is that, do you have to buy those things or they?
Yeah, it's reserve your reader. Let's see.
This is from my friend. I'm trying to actually sell it
it's
to
my
business.
I think it's like $59, 39 or 59. But if you get after you get the reader, you have 30 days, and if you get $59 worth of debits, charges, then they will credit your account the $59 back. So it's essentially free, but you have to pay first. So we've been, I think since September, we reserved our reader, and they're got an email like a month ago saying, you're still on the list, don't worry. We haven't sent one out to you yet though. But because we did reserve it, we are protected, which isn't a huge concern. But come when we do Faith Acts, and we've got hundreds of people coming in every weekend, and we thought it was important to have that and not have youth, that comfort and peace of mind.
And
So
that box, so they're showing on the front of the phone there.
Yep.
Does that plug into something? Is it a battery powered on its own? What is it?
no, it talks using NFC and wireless. So it's see there you can either do the tap to pay or they're calling dip the chip. So
Well, but what I'm saying is my friend, where his yard is, the phone service is okay, but a lot of times the internet part
right,
of the phone isn't okay.
yeah.
Is that?
Well, if he really is using Square, they have an offline mode so that you can accept credit cards even though you're not connected to the internet, and it stores the charge and the information.
Yeah.
And then when you go to a place that has service, you open up the app again, and it just sends all of those cards and charges everybody at that point in time, which we've had to do because the internet down at the other end of the building is spotty. So I've set all of our registers. We had 3 running last year for Faith Acts, and I just set all the machines to it's offline mode, and so we just accepted credit cards. And then when I got home, I turned them all back off airplane mode at our home Wi-Fi, and all of a sudden we got all these emails saying charge for this, charge or credit for this, credit for that, and so it all. Yeah, so even if you don't have internet, you can still accept credit card
But
payments.
then if you accept the credit, and I'm just speaking because I'm sort of standing on the outside of the fence,
Mm-hmm.
and the credit card is wrong, and I'm just asking.
Yep.
Then you lose that amount?
If
Am I saying it right? You know what
I
I'm saying?
I don't.
I mean,
Well, the credit card wouldn't be wrong if it was a fraudulent card or if the card
Yeah.
were over, maxed out or something.
Yeah.
Because we have the new system, we would be protected. But if you're only using the old system, my understanding would be that you're out.
Oh,
Yep.
okay. Well, like I said, I'm
Yep.
trying to help my friend, and
Yep.
and if I get my place, which hopefully I'll know today, I'm going to start a lumber yard here,
Mm-hmm.
and
You'll want to do the same thing.
I'm groping. Yeah, I wanna make it.
Yeah.
Right. Or
Yep.
Well, how do
Well, and
say
there,
that?
there's it's not just Square. Square just happens to be the one that we went to. So
Well,
there's
he has that. I don't
Right.
have anything, so
Right.
I'm.
So you
actually,
can do your-
I'm trying to figure for
yeah.
me.
You can do your research there. Like I said, there's the Amazon.
They all cost the same to use.
They're all a little different. Amazon payments. So I would just recommend doing research and looking at different ones. And you can look on. You can go on your iPad and you can look in the App Store.
Yeah.
And there's a couple different ones on there also, on top of Square and Amazon. So, and they tell you what their what the pay. With the old card swipers, they give you one, and then you could order a second for free, and then anyone after that you'd have to pay for it. So, yep.
Oh, okay, question?
Yeah.
Sort of I'm hogging, so let me apologize. He's got Microsoft Excel. Mine says get, and then in-app purchases. This doesn't say any of that
Trying to
stuff.
force his to pay and mine doesn't.
In-app purchases is after you've downloaded the app, then you can.
Yeah, but I can't get the app to go in. We're trying to find the app to put it in here. That's the only what shows up.
It says
And then he goes
Microsoft
through the
Excel.
step that forces him into authorizing a pay situation, which is weird.
A pay situation. So you click on Get,
Yeah.
and then you click it again.
Yeah. See how, what his is
And
different.
this says
than mine?
open because he's already
Well,
got
I've
it
already
installed.
downloaded, but still, I
Oh,
didn't
you already
pay for
downloaded.
mine, but
But when you do mine,
Well, no. Anytime you download an app, it's going to ask for your password.
no,
Make
no,
sure
no, oh, no,
you're-
no, I did all that stuff.
Well,
Wait.
No, right.
And it actually, it's kind of a pay transaction, but it's free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to go through the process like it's paid. But if there is a paid one, it always says, this.
It has
app
number
will-
dollars,
Yeah, it'll have a
$2.99.
dollar amount, or if you do an in-app purchase,
See,
it requires a
I just
password.
didn't do that.
And well, of course, I'm.
Well,
already
so I
downloaded.
said.
Oh, no, that's just,
No, I did that. Then it went to this. So I did that. And then it goes to,
oh,
Yes.
see, no, it's not, it's not charging you. So what happens when you have any device, whether it's Apple or Android, you have to have a credit card on file that
Right.
is valid and up to date.
well, I already did that.
It might have expired or I'm not sure what, but you always have to have
A lot of the cards have expired because of this chip thing.
yeah.
So the card that you have loaded in there may not be your newest card.
That happened to me recently.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Uh,
just went to charge something and I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Because they've sent us all new cards.
Yeah. So you could, even if you give your child a device and you set it up but you only ever want them to download free things. So you think, oh, I'm not going to put a credit card on there. Makes sense, except for the fact that these systems
They
don't work
want
that
you.
way. You have to have a card on file because if you want to buy something that's paid for, they want that info on your system even if you only ever intend to get free stuff. You got to have it on file with them. Yep. You do your 14-day free trial of Hulu or Netflix. Doesn't matter that it's a free trial. They want that credit card on your system because if you don't cancel, then they don't get their money. Mm-hmm.
Isn't it 1212 Connection Street?
Yes, with a capital C and a capital S.
That's what I'm doing.
And street is only ST.
Oh, that's what you want. Okay, thank you.
Costco.
4K TV,
Yes.
$150 off. So, what's the 4K source situation currently?
You mean who's offering 4K?
What, is there any 4K?
I don't know if they are officially doing it or not, but HBO is one of the big guys that's going to start producing all their original programming in 4K.
So it's coming fast.
It's coming. It's going to be, I wouldn't say fast, because it's expensive. And whether or not, so even if HBO offers 4K, doesn't mean that your cable provider's going to send it to you in 4K.
And what about over the internet? What with the streaming Apple TV and Roku and all that? Is there 4K?
I don't think
Media
Apple TV even does 4K.
Really?
Not even the brand new one. I think its hardware is only wired to do 1080p. So you would have to, like for example, my desktop Mac at home, my iMac, is a 2K monitor, and so if I could watch 2K stuff, or I could watch something that's 4K, but I'd only see 2K worth of pixels on my screen. But there's nothing out, like everything that I've watched has been on YouTube, and it's like, watch these nature scenes of flowing water.
4K, they're 4K on YouTube.
Mm-hmm. There's 4K stuff on YouTube. Yep.
Yeah.
And in fact, Sandy's new iPhone does 4K video. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So is that a 6S?
Yeah, it's the new
The
6S.
brand new one?
Oh, that's my Christmas present.
She hasn't had a phone since the
Imagine
4
she's
came
not
out.
Right, yes, Sandy.
Well,
For the next 2
Daddy was a
years.
good little girl. So, and I have to hit Verizon just right when it wasn't a crowd.
That's
Okay.
good. Did you get the password this time?
If it works, thank you.
Good. Good. So yeah, so most of the content I've seen is Netflix. I think has promised some of their new original programming will be 4K, but again, you'll have to have a device that will do
So
4K.
a 4K smart TV should be capable of getting the 4K media on the internet.
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
But the other thing the research that you'll really have to do is whether or not some of the reports I've read say that some of these cheaper 4K televisions,
Aren't really.
they will produce 4K as a still image.
Oh.
But once that image starts moving,
Pause.
yeah. So it's technically 4K, but yeah,
Oh, for
Yeah.
heaven's sakes.
it'll start degrading. I mean, some of them will degrade down to 2K, which is still good, but for it to call it a 4K TV,
That's a good tip.
yeah. So you really have to be,
Wait a while.
you have to really scrutinize whether that TV is truly. So I would go to places like CNET. CNET does great reviews for technology. CNET.com, as in the letter C and then NET. They review anything and everything practically that's technology, from computers to cameras to phones to tablets to video game devices.
Could you maybe comment on the cloud and just kind of refresh my memory, maybe some others, about the concept?
Sure.
And
Yeah.
if I load something to the cloud, who can download it? How does that process work?
Yeah. Of course, it's very generic. So the cloud, you have to have a cloud service. So Dropbox is a cloud service. Google Drive is a cloud service. Box.net is a cloud service. iCloud is a cloud service. So you have to start with the service first. But essentially, how they all work is it either automatically or you manually send files, whether it's a picture, a video, a Word document, an Excel document, to that service, and then it stores it up in the cloud. And then you can hook your different devices up to that same account. So for example, Dropbox. I have Dropbox here on my computer right there. The little box right there means Dropbox.
I've got the same.
Yep. So
So
I also have Dropbox on my iPad and my phone, and I also have it on my Mac at home and on my Windows PC at home. And they all have, yeah. And so they all have Dropbox. So as soon as so let's say I'm at home and I'm working on a file. I'm working on a Word document. And then I don't finish it, but I stop for the day and I save it into my Dropbox account. It then saves it up into the cloud. I then come here at work.
Is it just in the cloud or is it on my computer and on the cloud?
Depending on the service, it's both. Dropbox is both. It both physically takes up space on your computer because it's literally on your computer and on the cloud.
So it's in the computer and the cloud.
Yep. So then I come to work and I open up my laptop and I open up that same file I open up my computer. Dropbox syncs to the cloud and downloads any new or modified documents
To the computer.
to the computer. And then I open up that Word document that I was working on, and I open it up, and it's exactly where I left it off on the other computer. Assuming
So why would
it.
I do that rather than just save it on my computer and forget the cloud?
Well, it's a form of backup.
Okay.
One thing, and two, if you're ever somewhere where you don't have your computer, you can always go to Dropbox's website, log into your account there, and pull up anything you've got saved to Dropbox.
So I'm doing a word processor and I upload it to the cloud.
Yep.
And I want you to then to make modifications to it.
You can also share that with me, so you wouldn't even have to. You
So
can
how would
share
I
either
share it
a
with
file
you?
or a folder. So see these little, see these two folders that have people on them?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Those two right there, those are shared folders. So that the worship one is shared with all the people that do worship here at the church. And so they can, it's got all the, you know, how we do the songs up on the screen. So it's got all the songs on there. It's got all the backgrounds that we use. It's got, it's even got a folder in here called This Sunday. So anything that we're doing for this coming Sunday goes into that folder. And then as soon as Sunday's over, one of us deletes everything out of there. So it's only the most current Sunday's information is up in there. See, so it's already been emptied out. And so, for example, Jim will put the traditional service there. And then if I don't get to my PowerPoint for the sermon until much later in the evening, like I did this last time I preached, then he will put it in there. I will do my PowerPoint. I will open it up. I will stick my sermon in there. And then I will save it. And then when we come to the computer here at the church, we open up this folder because that computer has it also. And it's right there with Jim's presentation with my sermon inserted, all ready to go for Sunday morning. Pastor Steve will do the announcements at home because he does the scrolling announcements before the service starts. He will do that all at home. We'll save it to this folder at his house when we pull up the computer here. Let it sync from the internet for about a minute, and it's sitting right there ready to go for the screens.
Wow. That's great.
So, you know, Jim sits at his home and does it. Jeanette sits at her home. Dorina sits at home. And no one has to bring a disk. No one has to log into some weird system like we used to. You just open this folder up on your computer, and you go to work. And then it all shows up here at the church without anyone having to do any extra work.
That's an easy way to transfer, say, between the two
Yeah.
of you. You have pictures on yours, and you want to get them to Beth, put them there, and then she can put them up and put them in there.
Dropbox.
In Dropbox, yeah, we like to do more of that. Well, do the thumb drive or the
Yeah.
email.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean,
And
there's
so-
other ways to do the same thing.
Yep.
That would make-
And so you can share files specifically, or you can share a folder full of files. And it'll even, if you're sitting at your computer, which I've been many a times on like a Thursday, I'll sit here and a little notification will pop up in the upper corner of my screen saying traditional PowerPoint 1122 has just been updated. And so it lets you know. So I know that Dorina or Jim or someone has been working on it and has clicked that save button on their computer. And you can collaborate with things and all.
That's nice.
And if you go to Dropbox website, you can actually, if you accidentally deleted something or you modified something and you decided, and you'd already clicked saves and close the program so you can't push the undo button, you can actually go to Dropbox website and pull up previous versions or even deleted files for up to 30 days, I think.
I guess.
Yeah, you can't do that on the desktop. But if you go to their website, they've got archives of up to, I think, 30 days of those items. So,
How much storage do they give you?
I think starting out, I think they give you, it's been a long time since I've looked, they may have upped it since storage is getting cheaper and cheaper. But it started out at 2 or 2.5 gigs free. And then as you do things, like if you take the tour, they give you like 500 megabytes for free. If you download the app, you get X number of megs or gigs for free. If you download their Carousel app for your phone or tablet, they actually give you like another 3 gigs for free because the Carousel app's focused on pictures. And then you can just delete the app. You don't have to actually use it. You just download it, and then they say, oh, you downloaded it and you linked it to your Dropbox account. Here's 3 more gigs for free. So I currently have, through never having to pay anything, 10.5 gigs
Wow.
from, and if you refer people and they create an account and install the program, they give you like 250 megs per person. And so through all of that stuff, I've accumulated 10.5 gigs of free storage.
How do you tell how much you have?
You click on your Dropbox and then you click on the little gear.
Oh, up the top, okay.
Yeah.
More space, so
We covered a lot of ground today. Very good.
Yeah.
Yes,
Excellent.
thank you.
we have quite 5.2. so-
Yeah, 5.2 gigs.
Sure.
Yep. But the thing to remember are if you do share things, like at one point, Bill and I were sharing that video for the Synod, and that took up a lot of data. It puts someone over their account limit. And so you just have to be careful when you do share things because it does take up space on, even though I'm sharing the file or files, if there's like 3 gigs of data in those files and I'm sharing it with Bill, that's going to take up 3 gigs of his Dropbox space also. So you just have to be careful about
We
that.
ought to pull that back up and put it on screen sometime.